Good evening to everybody. Say good evening to everybody. Thank you. I hope I can do my presentation in English, right? Is okay? Or you want in Kannada? Fine. Okay, today's topic, what normally interests to all children nowadays, is space. Because Earth we have already seen, we have gone around the Earth, we have seen different places from the Earth. The interesting part is the space now, the space exploration. This is one of the interesting subjects and one of the burning subjects of all the countries of the world. So when we started this Aryabhatta first satellite in 1975 from ISRO, we got all these technologies from Russians. Russians gave this technology of satellite making. We made the first satellite, Aryabhatta. It was an experimental satellite. Just to understand what is meant by satellite, what we'll get, what is the benefits of satellites. So that was the intention of ISRO. And the main visionary of this whole program was Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So our hats off to Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. He only initiated this space endurance in India. Actually speaking, he was not very keen and he was not very interested to send people to the space. He wanted to know what are the things we can explore from the space to the common community of our world. That was his vision. But afterwards, when the space is available freely, now most of the place in the world is going to occupy by people. So I think hardly, you must be knowing, around 6.5 million people are there in the world now. In another 5 years, there will be not less than 9 million people. So the density of the people on the earth is too much now. So next future generation, where they will go? Once if this is completely filled with people, then we have to explore and we have to make a way to our people where they can go and live. So NASA and Russians and around 15 countries of the world, they started thinking, why can't we explore this whole sky, whole universe, whole ambient? So they started to make the space stations now. So first they started making the satellites, then they started making the rockets. Then the space shuttle program started. Then when the space shuttle went and people went around the world, globe, then they thought, why can't we make a colony there? Why can't we build our own houses in the sky? So this was the vision of the scientists, okay? So the second satellite, what we made was a Earth observation satellite called Aryabhatta. It was in 1979, which was launched. It was an Earth observation satellite. As you know, it was very useful for bringing lot of information about Earth from the space. Then in 1981, a proposal from India to send a cosmonaut to the globe, to the sky. This MOU was signed with Russians actually. So already a space station was there on the sky, and 2 people were selected from India to go to the space. Can you tell me who went first Indian to the space? Yes. Do you know the designation of Rakesh Sharma? What was he? Yes, squadron leader Rakesh Sharma was selected for going to the space. Along with him, Ravish Malhotra, yeah, he was Wing Commander Ravish Malhotra was also selected, and out of 2, only 1 was selected by the committee. So finally Rakesh Sharma went to the space. I think you are aware that both are from Indian Air Force test pilots. Both are from ASTC, that is Aircraft Systems Testing Establishment, which is there in India, in Bangalore. So both of them are from test pilots there. So they went for a 3 years strategic experimentation. They have been taken, the Russians they went to Russia for taking the training. Going to the space is not that easy, you know, and going to stay in the capsules, small capsules, is not that easy. So understanding the sky, understanding the technology, understanding the intricacy of the spacecraft and space station, they went for 3 years training in Russia. As you know, the gravitational drag, if one more in a high-speed rocket, once if it goes in the high-speed rocket, one will have a very heaviness in their body. So all the faces will start swelling, you know, you lose the weight of your limbs. So you start falling down to the earth. Lot of things will happen during the test flights, you know, during the training program. And definitely they are going to experience all these things in the space. So we have to make them prepared to experience all these things, what they are going to face in the space. They have tested on the ground first. And these two people were finally selected, and one of them was selected in the final flight. So on April 3rd, 1984, at 6:39 IST, Indian Standard Time, the Central Soviet, Kazakhstan Soviet Republic, from Baikonur space station, finally the Rakesh Sharma took off. So at the speed of the rocket, you know, it went by 100 feet height. It was actually the length of the Suez. He went by a Suez spacecraft rocket, which was almost like 100 feet height. And then, you know, he went along with two more cosmonauts, Yuri Moleskov and then Gennady Stiklov. So he went along with two more cosmonauts to the space. In 9 minutes, they reached 250 kilometers height. In 9 minutes, just imagine. In 9 minutes, 250 kilometers space, they reached in a capsule. They joined the Soyuz Salyut 7 space station. Salyut 7.
7:30 from 7:30.
Already the Salyut 7 was there already since 3 months there in the space. So these people went and joined that group. And then, you know, the Salyut 7, already the 3 more people were there in the Salyut 7. One is Leonid Kizin and Vladimir Solovsky. They received these 3 people, you know, Rakesh Sharma's group, to the space lab. And then when they entered the space lab, you know, it was live telecasted from India. That was the first live telecast once the man went to the space from Earth. Then the Prime Minister of India was Indira Gandhi, Srimati Indira Gandhi. He took an interview of Rakesh Sharma from the space station. She was asking him how our Earth looks from there. Then he said, "Sare jahan se acha, Hindustan hamara." He saw the Indian complete map from that 250 kilometers capsule. We can see through the windows there. They've got a lot of windows. I'll show you some of the pictures of the space stations there. And I've got nice video clippings where how they experience the space shuttle there, and then how they experience the space lab there, you know. So I will show you some of the video clippings to you in future. And Rakesh Sharma did around 40 experiments on the space lab. So he did mainly the remote sensing experiments, and then yoga, how yoga helps the man to keep fit. He demonstrated the yoga in zero-G gravity in the space capsule to other cosmonauts. As you know, once if you are in this capsule, will have the weightlessness. If they will start floating, you cannot stand like this in the capsule. I cannot. Suppose if I throw a pen, if the pen will remain there only. You know, it will not come back or it will just float. So it's a zero-G gravity will be there. he started making the yoga there, and he demonstrated that how yoga can help an individual to keep fit even in that extreme conditions. So it was actually, the yoga was very well attracted from all cosmonauts, and then they started, why can't we use this? Because they have to put a lot of the exercise machines on the space lab, because every day they have to do exercise. There is no other go. Because to keep themselves fit, they have to do the exercise. So instead of that, why can't we do this yoga? So that they are seriously thinking to delete some of the experiment, some of the heavy material there on the space lab, and then do yoga there. And one more thing is, we can't see. We are so lucky on the earth that we can eat whatever we want. But unfortunately, the life is so tough there. Life is so delicate. Life is very dangerous. We can't eat anything like what we ate today afternoon here. It's a special food. What is made for cosmonauts there? Of course, I'll show you some of the food gradients, what they can eat there in the space. When we bite, it should not be dispersed. It should not it should not be pieces. Lot of care has been taken in making foods there, and even packing the foods. It is not that simple. On a tray, whenever they go to the food counter, when they get the tray, it's all magnetically fit there. All velcros have been put to the fork and the knives there. And everything is packed in a vacuum seals there, and all the food is specially prepared, taken care of the space environment. So even you can't eat idli, vada, sambar and all there in the space. And also the constraint is so small. I'll show you some of the pictures of the ISS, Indian International Space Station, the areas. It is just like a small room, one small room. In the small room, you cannot move freely like how we are moving here in the field. Lot of constraints, and they will be staying there for months together. Just imagine how their mindset is there, how the cosmonauts have been trained, how the cosmonauts have taken an oath that they will do something and they will do some experiments which will be useful for our future generation. It is just unimaginable. It's actually unimaginable. Once if you see the video clippings, you will imagine, it's very difficult to stay there. I'll just show you one of the clippings to you. Then finally in 1984, April 11, Salyut 7 with Kizim and Saluo, and then Otko. So Rakesh Sharma came back to the Earth. So he was there between 3rd April to April 11th. Only some 6-7 days he was there in the space. In 6-7 days he has done around 40 experiments. Just imagine, these people have gone in expedition 34 now. They have been staying there since so many months, so many years. And then one of the interview from the cosmonaut of NASA, she was telling me, one press reporter asked her, what you felt immediately after coming to the Earth. Then she started crying. She said, I have missed so many things. I miss the smell of the earth. I miss my family here. Because they cannot take the entire family for the cruise there. She has gone alone with other cosmonauts. They have forgotten the family months together. And they have been assessed so many experiments to do there. The life is very hard there, So, finally, the Rakesh Sharma came back, and then it's only a small beginning of our Indian cosmonauts era. Now, in future, afterwards, there were 2 more cosmonauts were selected, but unfortunately, one of the disaster of space shuttle, the whole program of taking the international cosmonauts to the space was debarred. Hence, the whole program has been cancelled, and nobody after that went from India to the space. As you know, the space shuttle is from NASA. This is there in NASA, where we used to take the space shuttle. Now the space shuttle also has been abandoned now. Now they won't take, no more space shuttles have been flying in future now, because they have totally scrapped the program because lot of disaster took place in that space shuttle now. So there are already two space stations are there in the sky now. One is the Chinese Tiangong 1 and an International Space Station ISS. These two space stations are already there in the space now. What is the purpose of this International Space Station? Why the hell we should put a lot of dollars, lot of money in the space? Why? Is this the right thing what we are doing? So we have to have some justification, right? So these are the few things what I have noticed, that these are the basic principles on which the program has been accepted by the international committee, accepted by the international forum. One is the laboratory in space for conducting the science and the development of new technologies. It's a platform. And second thing is a permanent observatory to look down upon the earth and out the universe. They can do a lot of experiments by looking at the earth. You know, it's a platform in between the earth and the sky. So they can do a lot of experiments on the earth. On the earth, they can monitor so many parameters of the wind flow, the natural disaster system. So many things they can do the experiments on that. So this is one of the important feature where the international committee has accepted. And the manufacturing facility where the human intelligence and the surviving capability of the station combine to enhance the commercial opportunities in the space. This is one of the fundamental things what the international committee looked into. A transportation node where the payloads and vehicles are stationed, processed and propelled to their destination. See, now there are a lot of satellites which are dummy in the space now. See, like how we are facing the problem on the earth, this garbage. Now Bangalore has made a huge and twice in the world that garbage collection. Lot of garbage was collected in so many months, which was not removed. Okay, so we are facing so much problem on the earth. Similar way, we are facing lot of problem of debris in the sky now, because so many countries have launched so many satellites now, and after certain years the satellites will die there. You know, it's of no use. It will be just circulating the earth. Okay, it may be low orbit satellites, or it may be high altitude satellites, or it may be geosynchronous satellites. You know, but all the satellites have got their own lives actually. Maybe 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, depending on the propellant what we are using inside. Once if we lose the control of the satellites from the ground, you know, the satellite is almost, it's like died. So now a lot of NASA scientists are working now how to remove the debris in the sky now. So it's not a joke what I'm telling you now. They are planning to design a broomstick to clear all the debris in the sky now. You know, can you just imagine how they are going to remove the debris in the sky now? Because once if the satellites start losing their altitude, they start coming down, and once if they start coming down in the gravitational drag, it will just burn off and then it will become ashes. Like that, only few satellites will burn off, but the huge satellites, more than 5 tons, more than 8 tons, 10 ton satellites will definitely remain there only. That has started creating problems in the sky now. And the new satellites what we are sending there, even that, you know, we have got a lot of restrictions to send to the space now. Because when we launch the new satellite, when it comes to the orbit, something should not come and hit our rocket satellite there. So it has been already, you know, preciously calculated the whole thing, and then the time and the place and what kind of satellite has to be launched. It has been, we have to take an approval from the international committee now. It is not our fancy that okay, tomorrow I want to send a satellite, I can send it. It is not easy, that easy. We have to undergo lot of strategic, you know, the paths to approve our project to send a satellite to the earth. And then a transport is an assembly facility where due to ample time on the orbit and the presence of appropriate equipment, large structures are put together and checked out. Some of the satellites where they are planning to, bringing back the satellite is ruled out. It is not possible because we have to spend a lot of money to send another rocket to capture that and bring it back. It involves a lot of money. So what they thought is, once if they make the space station there, they can catch the satellite there, repair it and put it back to the orbit. It's very easy, one arm, and cosmonauts can go outside the space lab, bring the satellite there, and then repair it and send it back. This is one of the visions of the space lab. A storage depot where the payloads and parts are kept on orbit for subsequent developments, and a staging base for more ambitious future missions. This is like a store. See, a lot of spare parts are required for repairs of satellites and rockets there. So they will do all this spare parts storage there, and then they're trying to repair the space itself. These are the few purpose of International Space Stations. As I told you, the Tiangong-1 Chinese space station, this was having a 3-member crew. This was launched on 29 September 2011, recently, and the launch pad is from China. Then the mass, the total weight, you can just imagine what is the total weight of that, is 18,750 pounds, that is 8,506 kgs. It's almost 8 ton weight in the space lab. The length is only 10 meters, 10.4 meters. Just imagine in 10.4 meters, 3 members every day, morning to evening, they have to shave, they have to brush, they have to take a bath, they have to change their dress. Like every day what we are doing here, they have to do in that particular area. And then it is the diameter is only 3.35 meters. It's almost like 11 feet. 11 feet is the diameter of the capsule, and it is pressurized volume is 15 meters cube. And the perigee and apogee is the largest distance from the Earth and the smallest distance from the Earth. Perigee is around 355 kilometers and apogee is around 362 kilometers. And orbital inclination is around 42 degrees, and days in orbit is, as on 10th January, it is 469 days. It has stayed there in the space now. And this is the International Space Station. This is one of the, the mind-blowing experiment what the world is looking into. The ISS program in a joint project between 5 participating space agencies, that is NASA, the Russian Federal Space Agency, Japanese Space Agency, European Space Agencies, and Canadian Space Center, Canadian Space Agencies. These are the people who contributed for this ISS. This 10 years, almost 10 years now, this space station is there in the space now. Since 10 years, cosmonauts will be going there, being there for a few months, coming back, and one more group is going there. Like this, lot of shuttling program has been started now. Already 34 expedition has been taken place now. 34 times the people have gone and come back. ISS is a component have been launched by American Space Shuttle as well as Russian Proton and Soyuz rockets. First, how to bring a colony there? You need a place there. For example, when we are building a house, we need bricks, we need cement, we need asbestos sheets. Okay, we have to mobilize all the material which are required to build a house there. So similarly, the first few years have been spent to construct a whole space station there in the Earth now. ISS survives as a microgravity space environment research, and it should be completely air conditioned. It is actually microgravity space environment research laboratory in which crew members conduct experiments in biology, human biology, physics, astronomy, meteorology, and other fields. The station is situated for the testing of spacecraft system and equipment required for mission to the moon and Mars. This is the future, the eye that they have to explore a lot of things on Mars and moon. Because already the moon expedition has started now. People are started selling sites on the moon now. I think you're aware, right? It is something like 65 rupees per square feet. It is already available on the moon now. Sites. If somebody wants to buy, you can contact. Lot of agencies are there in NASA. You can buy the site on the moon now. I'm not joking. I'm seriously telling you. And the station has been continuously occupied for 12 years and 65 days, having exceeded the previous records of almost 10 years. That is 3,634 days, held in Mir in 2010. Mir was one of the space stations which was the longest stayed in the space, whereas ISS has overtaken that, and it's almost 12 years now the ISS is there in the space. What is the feature of ISS? What is this? How the International Space Station look like? You see, it is fully when it's fully crewed. It is around 6 members can stay there. In that, more than 6 people cannot stay. When you go to the other cities, you will take a double room or triple room, 3 beds, 4 beds like that, right? So this is the 6-bed rooms available in the space station now. Only 6 people can stay little comfortably in this space station. So currently this Expedition 34 is there in this space station. It was launched in 1998 and it's 2020 is the plan. Up to 2020 this space station they are going to build. They are expanding. This launch pad is from Baikonur, Russia. Approximately the mass is 450,000 kg, sorry. Is 990,000 pounds, 450,000 kilos, 450 tons approximately is the weight of this space station. Length is around 72 meters. It is much little comfortable than Chinese space station. And width is around 108 meters. The height is around 66 feet is the total height of this space station. And it is pressurized to 837 meter cube. And perigee is around 402 kilometers and apogee is around 429 kilometers. So this is a low orbit space station, what we call it as. Only 400 kilometers it will be revolving the Earth actually, the whole space station. And orbital period is around 92 minutes, 50 seconds is the orbital period. So it has already completed 5,161 days in the orbit now. Till 6th January. As on 6th January, this has completed 5,161 orbits. The days occupied is 4,448 as on 6th January. The number of orbits is already crossed revolved the Earth is around 81,010 times. It has already gone around the Earth. The whole space station. Okay, food in the space is very interesting. Most of the food on board is vacuum sealed in a plastic bag. You can see the left side. All the breads or whatever they take, it is completely sealed in a vacuum bag. Cans are too heavy and expensive to transport. Why they don't carry the cans is because it's very heavy. So no cans have been used in the space station. Efforts is made to make the food more palatable, more species are used than the regular cooking, and the crew looks forward to arrival of any ships from the Earth as they bring fresh fruits and vegetables with them. They'll be watching when their next flight is coming to this space station, because they'll be fed up by eating the same thing every day and night. Suppose if we eat 3 days, we'll go to the hotel to have the change there. There is no hotels there. They cannot go out. They cannot go even out of the console. They have to be there inside the console. Just imagine their life, it is something unimaginable. And they have to wear that space suit, then they have to wear that, every day they have to, I'll show you some of the difficult tasks what they are undergoing there in the space station. And then each crew member has individual food package and cooks them using onboard gallery, and the gallery features 2 food warmers. So you can see the food warmers here. So they will push the whole tray inside the food warmer and they pull out every day, and the food will be hot when they start eating that. And the refrigerator is added in November 2008. Till 2008, there was no refrigerators inside the space station. So in 2008, they have added one refrigerator to keep some cold, drinks there in a plastic container, either water or beer or whatever you call it. Okay. And water dispense and provided both heated and unheated water. So they will have both heated and unheated waters there. And drinks and soups are shipped from the plastic bags, with straws, while solid food is eaten with a knife and fork, which are attached to the trays with magnets and to prevent them from floating away. Everything has to be properly fixed on the tray. One knife, if it flies, it may go inside the eye of a cosmonaut, because it's very dangerous. Knives and the forks are very dangerous things. They are metallic. Fortunately, our Indians, we are using our natural fork, to eat. So those people are not well trained in eating with the hand. So they have to have this kind of modern thing. Okay. The crew activities. Just imagine, can you sleep like this for the whole night? He is standing and sleeping. See, the cosmonaut is standing here and then sleeping with a eye block. See, as we have in the office timings like that, they have been watching every day from the ground what these cosmonauts are doing. They have got a strategic 8 hours program on the space station. They cannot take the leave. Of course, they cannot just sleep all day. They cannot watch in the window all day outside. They have given tasks every day, and they have to report every day to the earth, to the ground. So they wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They are very punctual. All the cosmonauts are very, very punctual. They wake up in the 6 o'clock in the morning. Post-sleep activities like brushing the teeth or whatever. I'll show you one of the fantastic clipping of how they brush their teeth. They brush the teeth, and the toothpaste is made. It is soluble. After brushing the teeth, they have to swallow the toothpaste. They cannot spit it out. They have to swallow. That the toothpaste is specially designed that they have to swallow it. And at 8 o'clock, breakfast conference with the mission control every day. Every day after they take the sponge bath, they go to the laptop and then start working on the experiments. Immediately after that, they have to log in to the mission control. So they should tell what exactly their plans are there in the morning, what they are doing, what they have done yesterday. They have to report to the crew members. And afternoon consists of more exercise and work. They have to do the exercise every day because of the weightlessness. Otherwise, they'll become mad because the blood will start going to the head, and then they'll vomiting sensation. So they have to do a lot of strategic exercise every day. So most of the afternoon is kept for exercise. And at 7:30, they will have a dinner. So 7:30, they will definitely, everybody will come to the dining counter there. They will have dinner at 7:30. And they sleep normally at 21:30. The whole crew works 10 hours per day. They work for 10 hours a day. On a weekday, 5 hours on Saturdays, which is reserved for the time of their own for relaxation or work catch-up. They call up their wives, they call up their children, they can talk to them, they can have the video conference, they've got all the facilities. So, because otherwise they will lose their family there, and then they will, after coming back, the wife should not ask, who are you? So that's the reason why they keep every day, they keep touch with the family members there. So a crew member can sleep in a crew quarter in the threaded sleeping bag, like that, right? Sleeping bag. Listen to the music. So he'll be always listening to the music. Use a laptop and a storage personal items in the large drawer, and then module wall. And the module also provided a reading a lamp and shelf and desktop. They've got their own individual rooms where they can do a lot of their personal, input and other things. And this is how a cosmonaut will sleep on board. The important thing is hygiene. Hygiene is one of the important things. See, there are female cosmonauts, there are women cosmonauts, there male cosmonauts. So we cannot have the lavish toilets like in our ground. One for ladies and one for gents. Nothing is there. Only 2 toilets there. Only they have to use only those, either a lady or a gents. They will use only that toilet. You see the toilet design. It's more complicated. Why it has been more complicated is one of these expeditions, the toilet system failed. The whole toilet started roaming in the capsule. It was a disaster. The special spacecraft has been sent to bring those cosmonauts back to the Earth. Because a small mistake in the design will make the havoc in the sky. So that's why they have made a very special care for designing the toilet. A crew member washed using the water jet and water wipes, because morning face washing is not through water. Only wipes will be there. Only you have to take a wipe and wipe your face. That's your morning wash. Okay, and then soap dispensed from the toothpaste tube-like container. Crews are also provided with rinse-less shampoos and edible toothpaste to save water. Edible toothpaste, that's what I was telling you. Once the toothbrush is done, so you have to swallow it and then drink some more water on that. That's it. Finished. Your teeth is intact. There are 2 space toilets on this ISS, both of design of Russians. This is done by Russians. It's a vacuum suck where the urinals and then solid waste is collected in a bag and then it has been dispatched in the next flight to the ground. The solid. And the water, the urinals will be collected and again it is recycled. And then again, if they make it so purified, they drink the same thing again. It is a recycle. They drink their own urine there in the space station. After recycling, not the direct way. Then solid waste is collected in the individual bags which are stored in the aluminum container. Full containers are transferred to the Progressive Space Spacecraft for disposal. Liquid waste is evacuated by the hose connected to the front of the toilet, where you can see that yellow one. Okay, and it's automatically collected urine funnel adapters attached to the tube. So both men and women can use the same toilets. Waste is collected and transferred to the water recovery system, where it is recycled back into drinking water, what I told you earlier. Okay, in all the international space stations, how many people have been already visited so far, as of today? See, there are 340 flights have been taken place as of now, and around 270 individuals have already gone there. Out of which ISS crew is 31 women have gone there. So claps to the women because they are not back to the cosmonauts. 31 women have already gone, including our Kalpana Chawla as well as Sunita Williams. Yeah, Sunita Williams. And then 7 tourists have gone so far, 76 double and 24 triple, and 82 ISS crew members have already visited. So this is the strategy where United States have sent 240 flights, Russia has sent around 60 flights, Canada, Japan, Italy, France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Sweden, Brazil, Malaysia, South Africa, South Korea, Spain. In this also, as our Olympics goes, India is not there yet. So only these countries, cosmonauts have already gone, and then they have done a lot of experiments. They have brought back to their country a lot of future projects to do what is to be given to the next generation. So this is the strategy of the space. Okay. Now, You can also go to the space. Now already the tourist centers have been started in US now. So one has got $1 million with you. You can also go to the space and enjoy for 6 days, 7 days as per your capability. And already people started going, and so many people have already gone. You know, see already Americans, British, and then Iranis, then Canadians, they already flown. From 2001 this has started. They started taking because the NASA has got a limited fund. They have to collect back this fund for running this program in future. So self-sustained programs they should do. Any projects in India also they started bringing now. It should be a self-sustained program. Okay, government will help you to certain time, to certain days, to certain, till certain time. But afterwards you have to generate your own money. So they thought that this is the best way to generate money from the public. So it has gone from 2001 to 2009, from 8 days to 11 days, people have gone already into the space, and it will not cost you much, it's only $20 million from in 2001, and 2009 it is $40 million. Can you tell me how much approximately $20 million? $1 million is how many crores? Approximately is around 5.5 crores. 5 crore, approximately keep it for 5 crores. So around 10 million, 10 crores, no, 110 crores, right? $20 million. So this will be cost for going to the space now. Okay, I'll show you some of the video clippings to you which will interest you.